Hello, welcome to Papa Nick's Music. I am, as always, your host, Papa Nick Lewis, and here we are, hip deep in the holiday season, as we gird our loins, preparing for the oncoming winter weather, at least here in the northern hemisphere. We are meeting with friends and family, or we're avoiding friends and family, depending on your situation. And thoughts naturally turn towards, traditional, comforting, soothing activities. And so for the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking about what I think of as comfort food in media. And these are the TV shows, the movies, the albums that I go to when I want something that just helps me reset my levels, right? That just, it makes me feel like all is right with the world, that everything's going to be just fine. These are the mashed potato and meatloaf dinners of popular entertainment. I want to be careful, though. I am not saying these are my favorites. No, these are just things that they're media forms. They're TV shows, movies, and albums that I consume regularly. Okay, that's all I'm saying here. I'm not saying they're my favorites. I'm saying these are things that give me comfort. Okay. Because I am talking about comfort foods, even though I'm shoehorning this into the format of a top 10, it's not really evaluative. I'm not saying that these are the 10 best. I'm not saying that what I put at number 1 is better than everything else or anything like that. So I'm not going to worry about the subjectivity notice. Ooh. But because I am shoehorning this into the top 10 format, Papa Nick's Music's Top 10 series is unofficially sponsored by Schöfferhofer Beer. If you like Hefeweizen beer and grapefruit soda, you'll love Schöfferhofer. That's good beer. Okay, so let's kick this party off. I'm not sure that's the right saying, but what the hell? I don't really care. We're going to start with TV. Now, I am my brain is wired in such a way that I crave a certain level of routine in my daily life. Once I establish a routine, it's very difficult for me to get out of it. I am not afraid of ruts the way most people. Ruts are comforting to me. When you're in a rut, you know where you're going. Every day for lunch, for example, I could have the same thing for years on end, and I'd be fine with that. I'm a creature of habit when it comes to this sort of stuff. And every day when I eat my lunch, I watch an episode or two of a television show. And while I will move from show to show, and I'll try new things, and I'll try different things and all that sort of stuff, there are still several series that I have returned to many times over the years. I'm going to give you my top 10, but I've got a few extra that I felt I had to talk about real quick. So I've got 3 runners-up and an honorable mention. Runner-up number 1, one of my favorite recent science fiction shows, Firefly. Oh my God, I love this show. I've seen the entire series probably 5 times. The movie, while it was a satisfying wrap up to the series, it just broke my heart. The characters that I loved the most all died, which, spoiler alert. But Firefly is a wonderful series. I love it. I watch it again and again and again, and I can't get enough of it. So, runner-up number 1, Firefly. Runner-up number 2, I have to talk about this show because it was a show that I watched when it was broadcast the first time, and as soon as it became available on DVD, you better believe I bought it. It still frustrates me to this day that there is a story arc in one of the seasons that hasn't been released because it deals with music and they couldn't clear the rights to the music. And I am talking about Wise Guy. Wonderful show from the 80s. Ken Wall is Vinny Terranova, undercover FBI agent with the Organized Crime Bureau, who is deep undercover in various, mob-related activities. wonderful show. It hurts a little that we've got Kevin Spacey for one of the arcs, and looking at it from a modern lens, that's a little bit scary. But the show itself is very good. It was very well done, very well written. Ken Wall does a fantastic job, and Jonathan Banks as his FBI contact is superb. Love Wise Guy. I just wish we could get the Dead Dog Records arc released. Come on, people. And then finally, my last runner-up, I've got it in a big thing, and I didn't want to get it out, and that is 30 Rock. I love 30 Rock. I've gone through this series so many times I can't even tell you. It is a great single-camera comedy, one of the best sitcoms in American television. I love 30 Rock. But those are runners-up. My honorable mention, I also have, but it's in a big-ass box set, and I didn't want to get it out. I'm sneaking it into the list because it's not really something that I binge regularly. I binge it periodically. I binge it, in fact, every 4 years, it seems, because every 4 years we seem to elect a moron as our president. And when we elect a moron as our president, I have to watch The West Wing. I loved The West Wing when it was on the first time, original airing. Watched it regularly, watched every episode during its original run. And I have since watched the entire series, I think, 3 times. The last time was in 2016, and I am currently working through it now. There are issues with the writing here. It is not particularly flattering to women. The Aaron Sorkin's political ideas are, I'm sympathetic towards them, but he every once in a while hits a really awkward note that these people who are supposed to know what they are doing wouldn't do. Social Security related issues, usually, that's a bugaboo with me. But overall, I just love the fantasy world where a candidate can make the decision to run a campaign based on issues and run the campaign with the intent of raising the level of discourse and actually win. Ooh, that is a wonderful fantasy. But those are my runners-up and my honorable mention. This is my actual top 10 here. Coming in at number 10, what I think is the best sketch comedy show ever done. I put it above Saturday Night Live fairly easily. I put it above Monty Python, believe it or not, and that is SCTV. Oh my gosh, do I love SCTV. And the reason why it's coming in at number 10 on my list here is that of these 10, it's the one that I have watched the fewest times in terms of binging through the entire series. What I have a tendency to do with SCTV is seek out individual sketches as opposed to just plowing through the whole run. I do plow through the whole run, don't get me wrong. I have plowed through the whole run multiple times. But it's much more likely that I'm just going to find the John Candy Yellow Belly sketch, for example, rather than, blasting through all of the seasons of SCTV. But I love SCTV, number 10 on my list. Number 9 on my list of comfort food TV shows. In the 90s, there was a lot of good comedy on TV. Seinfeld was, Friends, good stuff. Cheers, good stuff. Good, solid comedies. But one of the best comedy shows on TV in the 90s was actually aired on Saturday mornings because it was a cartoon. And yes, I am talking about The Tick. Oh my God, do I love this show. If you have never seen any episodes of the original animated series of The Tick, oh my God, track this stuff down. These are wonderful episodes. There were 2 live-action series made of The Tick. one with Patrick Warburton as the Tick, one with Peter Serafinowicz. I think there's a crawl down here if I've got that name wrong, as the Tick. And they're both good. But the original cartoon series with Townsend Coleman doing the voice of the Tick, Mickey Dolenz doing the voice of Arthur in the first season. Oh, it's a wonderful show. And I love eating lunch and watching the Tick. Number 9 on my list. Excuse me. Number 8 on my list, I don't have in hard copy. This is one of the ones that I stream regularly. I do have it on hard copy, but I don't have the display cases. I've got the discs in a binder, and I didn't want to get the discs out. And it is The Closer. I love Kira Sedgwick. She is a wonderful actress, and I love G.W. Bailey. Oh my God, he's one of my favorite character actors, and he does comedy really well. And his comedic contribution to this show, I think, makes it. And I love The Closer. I've watched the entire run probably 4 times. It's not the next one I'm going to go through, but it's on deck. So, love The Closer. My 7th ranked comfort food series. Again, I streamed this. It's the same situation with The Closer. I've got it on disc, but the discs are in binders, and I don't. The cases are not where I can get to them easily. So, I'm right now. I'm streaming it in my lunch hour, and I'm thank God it's on Hulu, and I'm talking about Lie to Me. Tim Roth as a deception expert. This aired, I want to say, in the 90s originally. I could be off. It could be the 2000s. My sense of time is not good. And I frankly don't care. The thing I love about Lie to Me, my wiring is a little bit different, right? I was talking about this earlier. I like ruts. I like routines. I depend on things being in a certain order in order for me to be able to capitalize on it. Disorder throws me, right? I am neurodivergent, and one of the things about the way my brain is wired is that I have great difficulty reading facial expressions. I have great difficulty telling, for example, if somebody is being direct with me or if they're being sarcastic, if somebody is being honest or if they are lying to me. There are times I have to know you really well to know whether you are angry or not, right? And the whole idea that if you just studied long enough and hard enough and paid attention to micro expressions, that you would be able to determine whether somebody was feeling stress or not. That just fascinates me. And so I love this show. I'm willing to bet it's just a big pot of hot steaming garbage as far as the actual science goes. But I love the concept, and I really enjoy Tim Roth in the series. So number 7 is Lie to Me. Number 6, one of my favorite actors of all time is James Garner. So, of course, we've got the Rockford Files on this list. I loved the Rockford Files when I was a kid. I still, to this day, love it. I think it is very well written. It's sharp. It is the best Stephen J. Cannell series, and he had a lot of good ones in the 70s and 80s. James Garner is great. Stuart Margolin as Angel. Oh, my God, he's wonderful. I love the Rockford Files. The movies that they did, the reunion movies, but the original series, gangbusters. I can't watch the Rockford Files enough. Okay, coming in at number 5. This is a good opportunity to take a fortifying sip. That's good beer. Coming in at number 5. One of the interesting things about the way I consume this stuff, the way I watch series, I don't mind watching mysteries over and over again. If I give myself enough time, there's a good if the mystery was particularly well done, there's a good chance that I won't remember who did it. Okay, there is a chance. I won't call it a good one. But I still love watching it. I still love watching the detective try to solve the case. And two of my favorite series, I've got a virtual tie here, are both British series that I first watched when they were shown on PBS, Masterpiece Theater. The first was Rumpole of the Bailey. Oh my God, Leo McKern, fantastic. The thing about Rumpole of the Bailey is it doesn't really matter what the mystery is, right? I mean, this is the character of Rumpole and how he interacts with his colleagues, how he interacts with society, and how he interacts with whatever the issue is they're dealing with in that particular episode. There is a mystery there, but the mystery is definitely secondary. Love Rumpole of the Bailey. Also has one of my favorite themes of all TV shows. But the real fifth place holder here is another British series that I originally saw on Masterpiece Theater, and that is Michael Kitchen's Foyle's War. I love Foyle's War. The level of detail in the period recreation is fantastic. The acting is great. The stories are interesting, and again, the mystery's important, but it's not the only thing going on. So this series lends itself well to repeated viewings. I considered putting Monk on the list, but Monk, as much as I love Tony Shalhoub, it's not as rewatchable as Foyle's War. Love Foyle's War. Okay, coming in at number 4. This was one of my favorite series when I was a kid. Oh man, I love this thing. And I still love it. It is cheesy. Oh, I know it's cheesy. But it's also, it has moments of just, spot on depiction of social events. And yeah, I'm talking Starsky and Hutch, the most recent addition to my bookshelves. Yeah, I've got the striped tomato back there now. I love Starsky and Hutch. I love the fact that they are openly affectionate with one another in a way that you don't see on any other TV show. And you still, for the most part, don't see it. These two guys, Paul Michael Glaser and David Soul, were perfectly cast. They've got very good chemistry. The stories are good. It's just a good, cheesy 70s crime drama. Love Starsky and Hutch. Will defend it with my dying breath. Now, these top 3 are my hands down winners. When I first had the idea of doing this, I thought, okay, well, I need to think of some comfort food TV shows. And I thought, okay, bam, bam, bam. Got these right off the bat. These are the 3 that I come back to the most frequently. Right? I'll watch one of these and then I'll watch something else. And then I'll come back to one of these and then I'll watch something else. And then I'll come back to one of these and then I'll watch something else. And then I come back, right? I have seen each of these shows complete run several times. And there's a real good chance that here, as soon as I'm done with The West Wing, I'm going to pick 1, 2, maybe even all 3 of these back up and give them one more view. Coming in at number 3. Okay, I mentioned that 30 Rock was one of the best single-camera sitcoms made in America. It was one of the best, it is the best sitcom of the 2000s as far as I'm concerned. I would argue that one of the best sitcoms of the 70s is WKRP in Cincinnati. Oh my God, do I love this show. There is something about the chemistry of this cast and the setting of the show that I get sucked into it, and I'm watching this thing and I'm paying attention to the story, but I'm also looking at the set, and I'm paying attention to what the labels look like on the records that are on the turntables, and I'm looking at the spines of the records in the cabinet there in the DJ booth, and I'm looking at the cable from the microphone, and I'm paying attention to all that background stuff as much as I am the actual story. And there is something about it that is real that pulls me in every time. It's like this is when I watch this, it's it's almost like this is memory of my own life as opposed to watching watching a fictional setting. It sounds kind of creepy when I say it like that, but it's got that kind of pull. I love WKRP in Cincinnati. My number 3. My number 2. Now, I got issues with this show when it comes to there are certain tropes that just bug the hell out of me if they are overdone, and oh my God, are they overdone in this show? One of the tropes that irritates me is the whole idea of, oh well, we can't talk about this now. We've got to focus on what we're doing. Okay, but when we're done, we're going to talk about this thing, and it's like, okay, no, we need to walk to the car. Yes, but I want to talk about this. No, we need to walk to the car. Well, you can walk to the car and talk about it at the same time. Come on. Yeah, yeah, that's not exactly difficult multitasking, right? And so the whole, we've got to focus on the issue, we can't have this conversation, is just a way of artificially pumping up the interpersonal dynamic to heighten the conflict of the show. And it bugs me every time I see it, and in virtually every episode of Burn Notice, we have that. There's a lot to love in Burn Notice. I like the basic setting. I love Jeffrey Donovan. I love Bruce Campbell. Gabrielle Anwar. Sharon Gless. Fantastic, right? I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff. The characters are good. The stories are interesting. And I love watching Burn Notice, even though it pisses me off every time. Every time Michael says to Fiona, yeah, we can't talk about our relationship. We've got to focus. We got to focus on the case. But I love Burn Notice. My number 2. Whoa, he said, hitting his lampshade. But my number 1. I don't think I can count the number of times I've watched this series. It was one of my favorite series when it originally aired. As soon as it was available, complete series on DVD, oh, you better believe I snapped it up, and I have watched it multiple times since then. Probably every third series that I stream in its entirety is a repeat viewing of Barney Miller. I love this show. This is like WKRP, one of those shows where I get sucked in and I'm paying as much attention to the set. I think the set is brilliant. The precinct house is just wonderful set design, I think. But I get sucked into this, and it feels like I'm going home every time I watch an episode of Barney Miller. This is the ultimate comfort food TV show for me. This is, it's going home again. I love it. Love Barney Miller. And those are my comfort food TV shows. What do you think? Do you have the same reaction? Are there other TV shows that you think of as comfort food? Drop those comments down below. I always love hearing from you. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd click the like button. If you do click the like button while you're down there, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you've not already done so. It costs you nothing and it means the world to me, so I very much appreciate it. If you do subscribe, go ahead and click the bell for notifications. The YouTube folks appreciate that, so on their behalf, I thank you. Thanks again for hanging out with me today, and I hope that the rest of your day is harmonious. See you soon.